chat room. So if any questions come up, we are recording this presentation. So I will also be sending notes out from the presentation. So you don't need to take notes because I will send them out to you. And if you have questions after the fact, please email me or Elizabeth, and we will do our best to respond when time allows. So with that said, welcome to Social Media 101. As part of our attempts as the League of Women Voters in Collier County, we want to increase voter engagement, voter registration, participation, and vote by mail. To do that, we are planning to use more social media this year. Some questions I've heard are, what is social media? Why use it? And finally, how can we help by posting original content, reposting content, or sharing, utilizing hashtags and tagging, and participating in conversations or commenting on posts? We'll start with a little background before we get into those. So social media is simply websites and applications that allow users to create and share content and participate in social networking. Some examples of these are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. So for Facebook is the one probably most people are most familiar with. Facebook allows you to post videos, photos, as well as words. You don't have to, you're not limited to what you can post in Facebook. If you look at Instagram, you must have some kind of graphic content. So it has to be videos or photos to post. And then Twitter is 280 character content. So it's typing words. TikTok is 3 to 15 second videos, and then they can repeat up to a minute. And then YouTube. And YouTube is pretty much just posting video content, and they've posted stuff on YouTube from, if you're interested in a show that you watched when you were a kid, you could probably do a Google or a YouTube query on it and you would find it. So it's pretty cool content. I use YouTube quite a bit. So the focus on today is going to be Facebook and Instagram specifically. And that's part of this initial campaign we're doing. Joanne Husky sent a video that she did celebrating the 100th anniversary of women achieving the right to vote. And we're asking that all of our members create short videos or photos indicating they're women, it's important to vote, why it's important to vote. So part of, as we send those videos into Elizabeth and post them on our social media, then we'll create more content and hopefully get more people more excited about participating in the vote. So social media, you know, the reason we're choosing to do it this way, not just through newspaper advertisements or sending mailers out to people, is that social media is very focused on specific goals, like helping us build community and relationships by having discussions. So the things that we post, we want to actually generate discussion, not necessarily negative discussion that gets people upset, but just discussion saying, hey, we think it's important to vote by mail. If you have questions, let us know. And I've had some good results with that, where friends of mine from different parts of the country have said, I want to vote by mail, how do I do that? And so I've been able to kind of instruct them through messaging what they need to do, helping them Google their supervisor of elections and get that process going. Another thing, the reason we use social media is to help people understand who we are as the League of Women Voters Collier County and what we do. Cynthia, what is it? You're on mute, please.
I think she wants a screenshot of the list of
I thought you had a PowerPoint of different things, and all I'm seeing is that.
Yeah.
It is, it's going to be included in the mail out.
Oh, you're not going to share it with us?
I'm just going to share Facebook and Instagram, but thank you. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So it'll go on the mailing, on the notes to everybody. So, the other things we want to do is help build brand awareness for the league, promote events and increase attendance and registration and interest, as well as increasing site traffic to our website, driving our membership, as well as providing value to our audience by making sure they know, get better information on, you know, voting, who's out there that's running and how do they stand on issues through Vote 411, and they can find out about that and get to Vote 411 through our Facebook and social Instagram posts. So Those are our plans, is we want to use Facebook and Instagram to increase our visibility in the community and then generate interest in voting and what our organization does. So I'm going to now click over to Facebook. So I will have to share anew to my Facebook page. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so has everyone used Facebook before? You're all familiar? Yes, a little bit, okay. Yep, okay, that's great. Okay, if you haven't used Facebook before, when I send the notes out, there will also be instructions on how to create your own Facebook user ID. But we're gonna assume that everyone has their ID already established. So some things that we like to do in when you go into Facebook. The first thing is, let's find the League of Women Voters. So if you see your Facebook page here, you'll see the little Facebook icon. And then to the right of it, you'll see the search. So anytime you see that little spyglass, you know that's a search. So let's look for League of Women Voters, Collier County. So there is our Facebook page. So what we ask everyone do is, first off, make sure you like it. So you'll see that little like, thumbs up icon. Click on that. The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is, if you go to these three little dots, in social media always means something else that you can choose. So it's kind of like when you see ellipses, when you're seeing a note, and there's always and so on, ... So this is the and so on. So click on those three dots. And we're going to click on follow settings. Again, all this information is in the notes I'll be sending after the fact. And you can click on see first. What this means is that anytime the League of Women Voters does a posting and you go to Facebook, our posts are going to come to the top. Because what happens is Facebook has a lot of algorithms, and unless you're interacting with a page a lot, you actually don't see those posts. So if you have a friend who you're like, oh my gosh, I want to see what they say because it's always funny, or it's always interesting, or it always makes me mad, you can say, I always want to see it first. Or you can say, that person, I'm not so interested in seeing posts from them, but I don't want to really unfollow them or unfriend them. So I'm just going to say off, I don't want to see their posts in my feed. Default is just, it goes in the normal order. It used to be Facebook was always in chronological order. It's not that way anymore now. So you kind of have to manage it to see the things that are most important to you. So the organizations and the friends who I spend the most time with are the ones I always want to see first. So those are that's one of the things you can do. Make sense? Great. Okay, so that's the one thing we will ask you to do, is go to that page, like it, and then make sure that you set us first in your settings so that you see all of our stuff coming up right away. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask is, as you go down through and you see, oh, here's an interesting post. If you voted by mail, here's some information about it. When we say we want you to like, comment, and share. So I already liked this because I thought it was an interesting little video. And then you can make comments as well saying, this is great information. Thank you for sharing it with me. So let me do that. And then just enter. And then you can also share it onto your own Facebook page. So if you click on share, now the options are, I can share it where only I see it. I can share it so my friends can see it. I could send notes to my friends in Messenger, because Messenger is that Facebook way of sending notes between people. And you can set up a Messenger, group. Like I have friends who we have Messenger groups and we send notes to each other, and you don't have to use texting. You don't have to have a phone number. You can just use Messenger groups, and we can even talk. So if we click on, there's actually a video where you can just click on it and you can actually use, like, it's a Zoom-like process within Facebook Messenger. And you can use it for people all over the world. And they can use it from wherever they are, which is great if you don't have a Zoom account or you don't know what other social media they might be using. So there's a lot of different things you can do here, but let's just say I wanted to share this story so my friends could see it as well. And now it will be on my page as well. So the more we do liking, sharing, commenting, that's called engagement. And the more engagement we have, the better visibility our page gets, and the more it drives traffic that, you know, maybe somebody has looked at another site that talks about voting. Maybe they want to rock the vote, or When We All Vote, or, you know, one of these various organizations. It will drive that traffic to our page as well. So we want to be sure we do that, because we also want people to find out what we're doing and why it's important that their voices get heard. So those are some of the things we can do within Facebook. So now let's go, and I will, actually, I'm going to share the video that I created as part of what Joanne Husky's campaign for getting people to be aware of our 100-year anniversary. So to do that, in this top box, it always comes up. It says, "What's on your mind, Susan?" This is where I post my content. So I can go in, I say I have a photo or a video I want to share. And I go to my downloads, and there's my video. So I open up my video, and I'm going to give you a couple little clues, little tips here that help a lot. And again, this will be in the notes I send out. But one of the things I always do when I'm doing, especially like a video, I always say I want to post it only to me. And by posting it only to me, I can review it and make sure that my posting is what I want it to look like before I make it public or before I send it out to my friends. So that's just one thing I can do. So here I'm going to say 100 years have flown by since women won the right to vote. I'm ready to vote. Are you? Make your voice heard. November 3rd. Okay, and then I'm going to tag the League of Women Voters. There you go. So when I say tag, again, this is in the notes. So when I say tag, what I'm doing is I'm making sure an organization or a person with a Facebook page gets notified that I want them to be aware I posted this, because this is interesting content for them. So tagging is specific to a person. You're saying, I want this person or this organization to know. Hashtagging is a little different. We'll talk about that in Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and say tag that. And I can also do other things, like I can say, you know, if it's a picture and I have a bunch of friends in it. Oh, I'm sorry, Elizabeth. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to point out that you have to make the @ sign before you tag somebody. That's how you do it. You can't, sometimes you can just type your name, their name, if they're your friend, but if they're an organization, you usually have to do the @ sign.
Correct. Thank you. Yep. So I put the @ and then our name, which is again in the notes, and then it automatically brought up, here's the list, and I clicked on ours and made sure it's tagged in there properly. Like I said, if you're tagging a photo that has friends from high school in it, you could tag all of them in the photo. You can also check into a specific location. So there's a lot of different things you could do here. But for right now, I just want to get the video uploaded and make sure the League of Women Voters is tagged, and then I'll post it. Now, it usually takes a second or two to post videos, and then it will notify you when that video is actually up and available. So you should see in a few minutes, there will be, there we go. My video is now ready to watch, so I can watch it. So if I'm ready to, I can look at that video, make sure it looks how I want it to, and then, here we go. Ago, women won the right to vote. I'm ready to vote. Are you? Make your voice heard November 3rd. So I'm okay with that. So if I look over here, that's those other interesting things is if you hover over the person's name, it shows you who they are, some information about them. And then if you click on that little, there's a little lock there. That lock says only me. I'm the only person who can see this video at this point in time. but I'm okay with what I've written here and I'm okay with other people seeing it. So I can actually change that privacy now. And for privacy, you have a lot of options. For privacy, you can go in, you could say, I want everybody in the world to see it. I want only my friends on Facebook. Maybe there's some friend of mine who is completely offended by the idea of voting, so I want to exclude them from that list. You can exclude people. I can create a specific list. So if you had friends you were out doing something with over the weekend, but maybe not everybody needs to see that video, you can just select those specific friends. Or you can create custom lists for friends, for acquaintances, for family. You can do a ton of stuff here. I'm okay with friends seeing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on friends. And once I've done that, you see how that changed from that being that little lock to being little people. So that means my friends can now see that video. Other things I can do here, I can decide, I'm not so happy with the video, so I could edit it. I could go in, I could delete that video, and I could edit the post to change my wording if I saw a typo. I do those all the time because autocorrect does not always autocorrect the way I ask it to. So there's a lot of different things we can do in here, but that's the most important thing is how do I post a video? How do I post a photo? How can I make sure I like it before I let the world see it? But once you let the world see it, you can still take it down. It's just once it's been out there, some people do things like screen captures or they'll capture it. So you want to make sure you're happy with it before you put it out there. Okay. So other things you can do in Facebook, you can set up groups. So you can say, I just want to have a Facebook page for my particular group and share information. There's a lot of advanced stuff you can do, but the most important things we want you to know about are how to post and how to share and how to comment. And the one nice thing too you can do is when you're looking at comments, I made the mistake, I shouldn't say it was a mistake, I made the mistake of posting something about why it's really important to vote and voting by mail. And that's all I said. There was nothing partisan in it at all. And I posted it on Nextdoor, which is another social media venue, but it's a little bit different. It's specific to a neighborhood. And so I posted it, and you would not believe the comments I saw. Like, it was an attack. It was amazing to me that people were upset that I was saying, hey, make sure you vote, and if you do, make sure you're registered, make sure your information's up to date, and if you need to, vote by mail. And it was interesting. And so after 2 days of seeing all these comments, and I decided that was probably enough. And so I just went in and turned them off. And so you can go in and you can turn comments off as well. So if you put something out and you're surprised by how people react to it, you can always turn it off. And that's in the same thing where you click on those, the 3 dots when you have something posted. Let's see if I can grab one of my other, let's see. I'll show you where that is too. So here, if I go, oh, here's one that would. So this is something I actually would not post on, I would not post this on Nextdoor because I think people would probably have a fit, because I just posted some facts about when World War I happened, World War II, and the Spanish flu, because I thought it's important people know the data. And so I have my little gnome friends that I knit, and they carry little signs. So they're little, the more you gnome is what the theme is. And so if I started getting comments and I didn't think that they were useful, I could actually go in here and I could turn comments off for this post. Or I could edit the post audience. So you can always, and as people comment, you can also even delete those specific comments. So if somebody says something that you think is offensive or would be offensive to other people who are seeing your posts, you can delete specific comments. I worked with a farm sanctuary for a long time, and was always shocked when they would say something about like, hey, kindness is magic and be kind to your animal friends. And then people would say, animals are here for us to eat and not be very kind. And so they would just turn those comments off or delete them so that, we had one guy who actually said he was going to come kill our pig and eat him. And we were like, are you kidding? So I found out where the guy, because he's on Facebook, I was able to find out where he worked. And I contacted his workplace and I said, just so you know, this was what one of your employees said they were going to do. And they were like, oh, that's not okay at all. So you can take action. You don't just have to stand idly by and let people say things that you don't think are okay, which I think is good. So that's Facebook. Any questions before we move over to Instagram? No? Oh, yes, Elizabeth.
So why is it important for everybody to like and share our page of the League of Women Voters? What does it do for us?
For us, it helps us build our community engagement. So the more likes, the more comments, the more shares we get, the more people who see our pages, and the more engaged they can be with what we're doing and why it's important. So we hope then people will go, oh, hey, I can vote by mail, or hey, there's other people in the community who have similar thoughts and feelings as me. Isn't this great to know I'm not alone? So there is a relationship building that goes on, as well as building our branding and awareness of what we do and who we are. So there's a lot of different reasons to do it. Communication is super important. And, you know, for people, you know, I just moved to Naples a few years back, and finding people who were like-minded was really huge for me. And so we want to be able to help people find who we are. And, you know, obviously the more presence we have, the more people find us. So, yeah, Cynthia.
Can you do a quick review where I see where it says what's on your mind, and you were going to do something and then you said and then post it, but I didn't see how you post it.
Oh, here, I'll post another thing. Okay, so if I go to what's on your mind,
Yeah.
first thing I can do, I'm just gonna grab another photo.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know, wherever you keep your photos on your computer or on your, you know, if it's on your phone, it's going to be using your gallery. So you grab what other photo you think you want. And I see, here's my little Nomi who says, make your voice heard November 3rd, which is my favorite poem. I can't believe I made up my own poem and I'm super excited about it. So make your voice heard November 3rd.
Okay. Okay. I get it.
And then here, I know this one's going to be very quick. So I know I can make it public because, you know, I'm sure people will get upset, but that's okay. And then we're going to say, I just always retype in case you can't read it easily. Make your voice heard November 3rd. Get out and vote. And then again, I'm going to put at League of Women Voters, Collier. So see, as Elizabeth mentioned, you put the at in front of it. This is what's called our handle, so you don't have to type in the whole name if you don't want to. So that's our handle, which is kind of our nickname. And then I can just click on League of Women Voters, and then there's emojis you can attach to it as well, saying, and this makes me happy.
Okay.
And then I can just go ahead and let me move.
And what,
My gallery keeps moving around the screen, so then I can just post it. So all you do is click on post.
the word post at the bottom. Okay.
Yep.
I couldn't see that. That's why.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. So then it's posted. So
Okay.
now that will show up on my, and Elizabeth, because she's one of the administrators for League of Women Voters Collier County, well actually there's notification she'll get that, hey, somebody tagged you in a post. And how you find out when that happened, that's a good thing I didn't go yet, is notification. So over here we've got this little bell, kind of like when your phone rings, you hear a bell or a song, whatever. But when you click on notifications, it tells you anything that's going on your page or that people you follow, what they have. So here, my friend Matthew, I sent a note to him because it's his 16th anniversary of coming to the United States. And so I sent him a note saying, happy anniversary, we're glad you're here. And so he commented back to me on my comment to him. So, and obviously pages that I follow, they'll tell me information about them. So I always just look at notifications. Some people have notifications, actually send them emails every time there's something. That's too much email for me. So I just want to see the notifications on here. And that's another way, if you don't have everybody who you're most interested in coming up as see first, it will still show up here in your notifications.
Could you say something about Esther the Wonder Pig? Because I know you were talking about Esther.
Oh my
as an
gosh,
influencer.
Esther. Okay. This was the, so, see, so this is Esther the Wonder Pig. My favorite question. I was on the board of directors for Esther's Farm Sanctuary. So she had a farm sanctuary for, gosh, we started in 2014. So some friends of mine got this pig, Esther, and when they got her, she was about 5 pounds, and they were told that she was going to be a micro pig and that she would never be more than 70 pounds. Well, she's 600 pounds. She's a commercial farm pig. But by the time they found out, she'd already been living in their house and they had already adjusted their lives to having a pig living in their house. And then by the time they realized who Esther was going to be, they said, oh, well, we probably can't live in town. So they had started a Facebook page just to kind of let people know what was going on with Esther. Esther the Wonder Pig was the page. And then they decided, we asked our followers, hey, would you guys help us if we decided to buy a farm and start a farm sanctuary for other animals who've been rescued, who've been abandoned or abused? And our followers said yes. So we did a crowdfunding campaign, raised $440,000 in 2 months to put a down payment on a 50-acre farm outside of Toronto. And there's now over 100 animals at this little farm sanctuary, and the name of the farm sanctuary is Happily Ever Esther Farm Sanctuary, because she's the spokes pig. And then she lives in the house with the guys still. She does not live on the farm. So she lives in the house is part of the farm, but she does not live in a barn. She lives in the house with a turkey named Cornelius and Phil the dog, and then Steve and Derek, her dads. And then the other animals live in the barns and the outbuildings at the farm. So Esther now has over almost 1.5 million followers.
Jeez.
And she also has an Instagram presence. She's had 2 best-selling New York Times books out, and she has 1 children's book out and a 2nd children's book out coming this year. So she's pretty fantastic. She's very funny. So that's Esther.
Do you have any tips from what we can learn from Esther that makes her so popular on Facebook?
The reason she is so popular is because Steve, one of Esther's dads, is one of the funniest human beings on the planet. So he always has great, like here's Cornelius, the little turkey who lives in the house now. And Cornelius, he's got a hat and a medal on. And Esther, she's hanging out in the pool with Steven here. And he, they just post fun things and people love them. And actually they're very well used by interesting groups of people like therapists. That was Esther when she was tiny, living in town. Therapists use her a lot for children, and actually they use them a lot in schools with especially special needs classrooms. Like when they say the kids need a break, they'll say, oh, let's go see what Esther's up to today. And he posts videos a lot, and she's just a funny girl. But she's funny because Stephen gives her a funny voice. So that's why Esther's so popular. They actually, one thing really interesting we did 3 years ago, Esther got sick and she had cancer. And we were unable to get her scanned to understand the extent of the cancer and what they needed to do, because there was not an MRI machine in Canada that was large enough for a 600-pound pig. Well, when you find that out, then we found out not only is there not a scanner in Canada big enough for a 600-pound pig, there's not one big enough for a person. And there are people who weigh 400 to 600 pounds who can't get in a scanner. And so we raised $1 million, and we bought a scanner and we gave it to our local veterinary college, which is the #1 veterinary college in Canada. And now there's a scanner there that can be used for horses, donkeys, cows, pigs, any large animal, as well as for humans. And so
it sounds like what you're saying is that Esther has a good backstory that people can identify with. And so maybe that's something that we could use to create a good narrative. Absolutely.
It's fun. I think for us, I think it's a matter of finding stories about people. So it could be, one of the things we can look at is people who are first-time voters. people who've recently become citizens, who it's their first time voting, and how do they feel about it? How did they get here? For the census, it could be people who are DACA because they're not allowed to vote, but they can still be counted by being part of the census. And so we can't, it's just finding those stories and then publishing them. That's a great point, Allison. Yeah. Yes, Elizabeth.
A quick question. So I'm on my phone and I don't have the option for the only me. When I click on the post and it's got the who can see Elizabeth's posts. I don't, is that originally when you set up your privacy settings?
You can change it at any point in time. So I'm looking at my phone right now. So let me do the same thing. Oh yeah, so when I go to create the post.
Yeah. Because I just created.
Oh, at the bottom, it should say see more.
Okay, I'm gonna try and, okay, so see more and you go in there and you can do the only me.
And when you click on see more at the very bottom, it says only me.
Okay.
So initially it says, when you click on share with, it says public, friends accept. And if you click on see more, it will show up only me.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so that's one thing is what you can do on your phone and what you can do on your computer are not always exactly aligned. And in fact, for Instagram, what you can do on your computer sucks compared to what you can do on your phone. So
Yeah.
I suggest doing everything on your phone for Instagram. And, you know, if you decide you're going to become one day you're a power Instagram user, there are a lot of YouTube videos that tell you what to do to use it on your computer. Elizabeth, yeah.
I have another question. So Facebook has a thing called, you can post it on your timeline or post it as a story.
Correct. Yeah, so story is temporary. So story typically within 24 hours is gone. Timeline stays in your history. So it's up to you if it's something you just think, hey, this is cute and I want people to be aware of it, or maybe there's an event tomorrow. And so I don't need it to stay on my timeline forever. Because that's one of the issues with Facebook that drives me crazy, is if you have something going on that's time dependent, like there's this event today, and if we had put it out on Facebook, if we didn't only put it on our story and not on our timeline, it would show up on people's feeds 2 weeks from now. And that's really annoying. So that's one thing that I will tell you, like Facebook isn't perfect by far. So, okay, so the other thing, let's see. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention. So when you do set up your Facebook profile, the other thing is you get to set a cover photo and a profile photo. So your cover photo is this larger photo that's at the top of the screen. And, you know, only if people go to your actual page do they see that. And then your profile, your profile photo is this little circle here, and that's what shows up. Every time somebody sees your name, that's that picture that shows up. And you can change that. You can change it anytime you want. You can also put a deadline on it, so it only lasts for a week. And then your old profile photo comes back. So those are things you can do to control what people see. You know, there's a lot of people who have just a black screen there because they don't want to have a photo. But I always like to have, like, this is the one I picked the other day because I was excited about, you know, women in general. And I think it's a good message for the 100th anniversary of us getting the vote. So, okay. Any other questions on Facebook before we go to Instagram? Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing again and then pull up my Instagram. Let's see. And here's my Instagram. Okay. Okay. So I apologize. Like I said, Instagram is not really friendly for using on your laptop. So to see this the way it looks on your phone, kind of, sort of, you have to see all this garbage at the right. So don't worry about don't pay attention to what's going on behind the curtain. So anything to the right, not important. So here, when I go to Instagram, let me just go, let me move this over here. And let me just go to home. Okay. So home is when I go into Instagram, here's where I start. And I have, you know, my profile photo, and then photos of other profiles I follow, other people or organizations I follow. So by clicking on that little home button, that takes you to the very first screen, and this brings you up to whoever's posting recently. Then if I look at, I want to go in here again, and I want to look for the League of Women Voters. There we go. So we see for the League of Women Voters Collier, we actually have 2 Instagram pages. So in this case, the Collier County Women Voters, that's our youth leaders steering committee, correct? Or group, correct, Elizabeth? Okay. So that's where the young leaders group posts. And then we also have League of Women Voters Collier County, and that's our regular league page. So go ahead and click on each of those, and you can click on this little person, and that means you're going to start following them. So you can see here we see in the Collier County, the Young Leadership Group, we have 25 posts, 68 followers, and 77 groups that we're following. And then it also gives us a website that you can go to. And that's basically our Call Your Votes website. And we can see some of the posts that they've put out. So if there's something you like, you can actually say, oh, I like that. Request your ballot today. So I can go in here and I can like it. That's the little heart. I can make comments, and I can also share it with other pages if I want to. So I can share it to Facebook. I can share it directly to my own Instagram page. I can share it on Messenger. WhatsApp is another social media, but I look at it more as a communication tool. WhatsApp you use for mostly phone calls and things like that. Twitter, email, etc. So there's a lot of things you can do there to just share it however you like that particular post. And again, you can add comments, and the comments help us get more engagement. Okay. Okay. So we liked that, we followed it, we commented on it. And we can do the same thing for the League of Women Voters as well. So those are the things we can do with Instagram. Now I want to look at if I want to actually do a posting. So in Instagram, if I want to post something, I click on the plus, and this is how it looks on your phone. If you go into Instagram on your computer, there is no plus. I don't know what they think you're going to do on your computer, because I had to go to YouTube and look at a video to figure out how to make this come up so I could actually do posting from my laptop. So I highly suggest doing it from your phone. So once I go on here, I can say, yep, I want to post that photo. Oh, and it's upside down. So I can click here. You see this little button here. I can click it to turn it around. And I can also crop it so it comes up to the size I want it to be. This is so not helpful on, it's not super easy to do on your laptop. So, so once I have the photo looking the way I want it to, which this is not, but I'm not going to fight with it here because it's easier on my phone. So on your phone, once you have it looking the way you want it to, and you can do cool things where you could actually do, well, here I can change the colors so I can make it more faded. I can do black and white. On your phone, you can also make it where you can put multiple photos together, or you can put them on a cycle if you have 3 or 4 photos you want and it just cycles through them, or you can put it on this infinity where it just continually cycles. So you click however you want, whatever you want posted, click on next. And then similar to what you saw in Facebook, you would write in your caption. So let's see, it's, and now here is where we start talking about hashtags. So hashtags are how you elevate a topic. So if I want, if there's something, well, typically there's already established hashtags. We're actually probably going to establish a few of our own, but hashtags are where you take a posting and you say this posting is about these topics. So in this case we have, I'll send the hashtags we have already developed or are using. So there's hashtags like Women Power the Vote. So anytime somebody posts a photo or a video that's about women and voting, they could put hashtag Women Power the Vote. And so here I'm going to put Women Power the Vote. And so on my phone, when I do that, it brings up all of the various, it brings up how many people have posted under that hashtag. And I'll show you in a minute, we'll go actually look at a few of these hashtags to see what's out there. So we can put in a couple different hashtags. We'll put in she votes. Oh, now it's coming up. Okay. So here we see she votes has 7,444 posts. And I'm going to grab a couple more. Let's do women vote. Oh, I need to put a hashtag first. That's important. So here we see there's 16,000 other posts about women called Women Vote. And then I'm also going to put, how about, this is one that will, so here we go. And there we have 340,000 posts for Rock the Vote. Wow. And then let's do When We All Vote, which is another organization that actually Michelle Obama is very involved with. So that one had about 44,000. So we'll put those hashtags on it. And again, if you want to, you can add information like where you are. I'm in Canada right now, so I'm not going to add the location because I don't want to upset people thinking that I am trying to influence the American election. I am American. I have the right to vote, but I don't want to upset people. And tag people, I can go in and say, oh, I know Elizabeth likes my little gnomes, and so I could tag Elizabeth so that she makes sure to see my little gnomes because I see all of her, she knits great little stuffed animals and I knit little gnomes, so we always exchange our information, our photos. So
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry. You said that you put the hashtag on so that it elevates that message. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by elevate?
Let me show you. Let me share this and then we'll go look. So I'm sharing that. And now if I go click on here, let's say we want to look at hashtag Rock the Vote. So if I look at hashtag Rock the Vote, this has all of the various postings that have happened under that hashtag. So it starts with top posts, and then following there are all posts, most recent. So there's most recent, there's my little guy. So as people pay more attention to that post, because they follow, you can actually follow hashtags as well. So if you start following the hashtag, and I could say follow, and as people say, I like this particular posting, then that elevates it to top posts. Oh. And so then people will see it more often. Because for me, I have a blind dog. So my little blind dog is Ziggy. And so one of the hashtags I follow and pay attention to is Blind Dogs Rule. And the reason I do that is because there are a lot of people who won't adopt a blind dog. And we adopted him from the Humane Society after he'd been there for 4 months. And we want people to know blind dogs are no different than any other dog. They're just dogs who can't see, but they have great other skill sets. So yeah, so you can go in here and, some of these blind dogs are really cool and fun. So you can decide you want to follow that particular blind dog. There's my dog, that's Ziggy, that guy. That's my boy. So people follow him, and then, you can see what other people are doing. In Facebook, there's a site there's a page specifically for blind dog owners. And so in there, I belong to that group, and there's people constantly asking questions, and you're giving advice, or you say, well, here was our experience, and tell why you had a good experience adopting a blind dog. So there's a lot of different ways to utilize social media to help. But that's how, by using hashtags, you can figure out, hey, I'm really interested in this particular topic. And you can find out more about it. One of the ones I really like, let's see, where was it? I think I showed this one to Cynthia the other day. So for the 2020 census, you can go in here and see, okay, what are people talking about for the 2020 census, and what are the top postings? And there was one in here. Where'd it go? Top posts. Oh man, it's gone. There was a great video that was put out by a Native American tribe, and it was a little boy who was talking about the census and why it's so important for Native Americans to be counted. So you can go out and find different content that you think is important, and it could be something, you know, it could be something like, oh my gosh, I've had triple negative breast cancer, and so you can do like TripNeg BC and find out what other people are saying and what their experiences have been. And it almost forms, like you form these small communities. But it's using all these different, you know, all these different hashtags can help lead you in that direction to find those people. And I'm shocked at how people are incredibly giving and kind and willing to give you information. Elizabeth Poley, I saw your hand first.
Thank you. So I have a couple questions about hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
So there, like with When We All Vote,
Mm-hmm.
there is a site with a hashtag and one without a hashtag.
Right.
What difference does it make?
Okay, so When We All Vote is the actual organization's, that's their site, that's their page. So they control the content.
Yeah.
The hashtag When We All Vote is everybody else's content that is about that topic,
Okay.
right? So like we have League of Women Voters Collier County, and
Yeah.
those are the memes that Elizabeth and Pat and whoever else are putting out that
Yeah.
is very controlled.
Yeah.
But then when I put a picture up of my gnomes saying, you know, make your voice heard November 3rd, and I hashtag our League of Women Voters,
Yeah.
they don't control that.
So does it go to a separate page?
Yeah, it's like here we see there's a hashtag 2020 census page.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there might be. I don't know if there is. I've not looked to see if there's a 2020 census page. There we go. So there's the US 2020 census.
Okay.
So here you see the 2020 census, they control that content. Hashtag 2020 census is controlled by the crowd.
Okay. So with our youth group,
Yes.
we have Collier _women_ or Collier County Women Voters.
Mhm.
There's no hashtag in front of it.
Correct.
That's the one that Cam and Christy. Now then there's also the hashtag League of Women Voters Collier County YSL, YLS.
Right.
So anybody can post to that, but should we hashtag both of them?
There's no reason not to. It's just the longer the hashtag, the less likely it is to get used.
Okay, because I'm just asking for a contest because I want them to copy Collier County Women Voters, right?
Yeah, I think if you hashtag one, you're probably fine, like a unique one. And then you probably want to hashtag some kind of more popular ones like Rock the Vote, When We All Vote. So you want to get that content out to there too.
Yeah, we've put those on there, but I'm just curious as to like which one gets more hits, you know?
Well, typically the hashtags are how you build outside attention, right? Because like I also use the hashtag Adopt Don't Shop a lot, or Dogs of Instagram. Well, I found out Dogs of Instagram has now been taken over by a bunch of young men who want to post their photos, and they're not like rude or anything, but they're not dogs.
Yeah.
And so I've stopped following Dogs of Instagram, and now I follow Dogs of Insta. And that's the hashtag I used for my dogs because I don't really want to see I mean, it's nice that they're young men and they want to be on Instagram, but it's like, that's not why I follow Dogs of Instagram. So again, Dogs of Instagram isn't owned by, hashtags are not owned by anybody.
Right.
You own your site. We own Collier County League of Women Voters. We do not own hashtag LWVCC. Whoever wants to post to that can post to that.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between hashtags and
I'm trying to direct people to the best place. And I'm at my wit's end because I don't know the answer to that question.
yeah. And you do want to make sure, I mean, I think it's a good idea to have kind of a unique one that you can kind of gather all that content under. But I also think it's really important to have those kind of popular ones where you can actually drive some activity where other people see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have about 10 or 11 on the contest rules, but I just want to make sure that they get to the main Collier County women voters. So
yeah,
that one's in there without a hashtag, and that's okay, right?
and that's okay. Yeah, because they're tagging it.
Okay.
So that way you get to see it on your site.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Yeah. Elizabeth Baird, you had a question.
Oh, yeah. So we have also are following all of the other League of Women Voters sites or Insta pages throughout the country, which is really kind of fun to watch everything pop up. So if you can go to our site and you can see on Instagram what everybody else is doing, which is really fun.
It is.
Yeah. So if you want to start, if you just type in League of Women Voters, hundreds of League of Women Voters sites will come up. And you can follow those and see what they're doing and posting. And I steal some things from them on a regular basis, but it's fun.
Absolutely. Like League of Women Voters, that's Bowling Green, Ohio. Yeah. Calhoun, Minnesota. So yeah, I think that's kind of
all right. Cool. How do you follow all those then? Say they all pop up. How do you decide to follow?
All you do, click on them. I always say review their content first to make sure you're interested in it.
Okay, and then hit follow. Okay.
And then click on follow. But I always look at their content first to make sure, because some people, they may have put it out there 5 years ago and then they've never done anything with it since. So it's good to know, are they active?
We're guilty of that. We're guilty of it.
We're fixing that though. We're fixing that though. Elizabeth, do you have any questions on the chat? Because I can't see the chat. Everything's good?
Nope.
Okay,
not right now.
Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show before we, because that's kind of it for Instagram. The other thing I wanted to show was a quick YouTube share. Let me open up YouTube first, because this is what a lot of people really enjoy. Because this is what, if you're under 40 or under 30, this is what people are using for, who needs television when you have YouTube? So it's a little different than other social media, but it is kind of nice to be able to see and use and know what's out there. So okay, so YouTube, like I said, you have a whole lot of options here. Actually, this is one that came up just a couple weeks ago. I am not throwing away my vote, right? So everyone knows that song from Hamilton, or the majority of you, I'm sure, probably do. And so some different people have put together a quick video called I Am Not Throwing Away My Vote. And so you can go to YouTube and put in almost anything. I am not throwing away my vote. I am not throwing away my vote. Hey yo, I'm proud of my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my vote. 4 years a degree and I'm out of college. Feel like a scholar, but do I amaze and astonish? So I just wanted to show that so you could kind of see, you can go in and look for almost anything. In this case, one of the things that's highly recommended when you do videos like this is that you subtitle them, because people lose words. So if you are, especially for younger people, when you're putting content out in video form, it's usually asked that you go ahead and subtitle it, because a lot of times they're watching it probably when they're not supposed to be, like in class or other places that they're not supposed to be watching videos, and they're not listening necessarily, but they're reading. So it's always good to subtitle your videos. You get a lot more views and a lot more excitement around them. But some nice things in YouTube you can do is there's a ton of training. So if you want to find out like, how do I post a video on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram? So you can just say, what do you want? What are you interested in? And immediately there's all this content on how to post a video on Instagram. So when I was an instructor a long time ago, I worked in IT world and I was an instructor. And the first thing, this was way before we had things like, you know, the accessibility we do to information now. And when people would ask me a question, I was always say RTFM, read the flippin' manual. And now it would be, did you search YouTube? Because search YouTube first. Yes, Elizabeth.
Show people how to share a video from YouTube.
Oh, sure. Let's
Like
see.
that Hamilton one is a great
Yeah,
one.
let me go grab that back. I am not throwing away my vote. Okay.
Yeah, Instagram does not come up on my share button at all from YouTube.
From YouTube, no.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am not going away my vote. I am not going.
Yeah, I know you can share on Facebook.
Yeah, so go to share there. There you go.
Yeah, so you can just go ahead and click share on Facebook.
Or you could.
And then here it comes up automatically because I was already on Facebook on my computer. So the thing to do is always make sure you have Facebook open on your computer first. Otherwise it'll make you log in and then you get confused on where you are. So then I can say, love this. Don't throw away your vote. Make your voice heard November 3rd, because it's my favorite poem.
And then show how you can do it by copying the link and then you can paste it into an email to send to somebody or paste it into your Instagram.
And here I could also still do hashtags.
Yeah.
So, okay. And now that will show up. The other thing I can do is I can just click here on copy. So see if you look here, it's hard to see, but there is actually a little box around this. Click on copy. And then you can go to compose in your, whatever your email is, and just paste. And here, I'm going to send it to Elizabeth because she asked. And then I send it. So it's as simple as just copying. You can share it through almost anything, through a messenger, through a text. Once you copy it, especially if you're on your phone, obviously it's a lot easier if you're copying to a text or something from your phone. But yeah, YouTube is like if I talk to any of my nieces or nephews, they probably spend more time on YouTube than anything else. And I do once I get into it, it's really hard sometimes to pull yourself out of it, remember? So yeah, it's fun. It's fun. There's a ton of stuff out there. Any questions? Elizabeth Polly.
Quick question. So you could copy that link, put it into your messages, and then copy it into Instagram?
You can actually probably just copy the link into Instagram. So yeah, hold on, let me click on Instagram, go home. Let's see.
I don't know, maybe you could do, I haven't done it from the phone. You can look.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not tried it this way, but let's see.
Yeah, I was just trying it, but
I wonder, I might have to download the video to my laptop to do it that way.
yeah, I wanted to watch this video that I just found before I posted it to make sure it was okay.
I understand. That's always smart. And again, that's why when I'm on Facebook, I always do the only to me first. And then I make sure there's nothing that could be wrong before I post it to the public. With photos, I'm not so concerned, but with videos, I always try to do only to me first. And also you want to make sure it's short enough, like try to keep things pretty brief. You know, people don't have a huge attention span.
Yeah. This one is first time voters discuss role of social media in the 2020 campaigns.
Ah, interesting.
I wanted to watch it before I posted it, but I'll post it if it's good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Any questions or anything?
No.
Wonderful.
Can I ask
Yes.
a question?
Councilwoman.
Have you prepared any notes or a primer for people so we can
Yes.
refer back to that?
Yep, I
And
have
how do we
notes
get
and
them?
I'll send them out. Elizabeth will give me the list of everybody who's registered, and I'll send it to everybody today.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
great.
no problems.
Do this again. If we talk about it, do it again. This is good.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. If it's helpful and there's other people who are interested, I'm happy to do it
Yeah.
again. It's just,
Yeah.
to me, it's like once you do it once, the first time's always yeah, I wonder if that'll come up. Oh, I go through it 3 times. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. I should talk about that too. So
Yeah, well, you can watch it a lot more than once. I watch it another couple times and still learn a lot. So I hope you do
yeah.
good. Very
If anybody
good.
has questions, let me know.
Give people more notice the next time so they can fit it, into their calendars, and
Yeah,
we can
we
get
just
a lot of
kind of,
interest.
because of the getting the 100-year videos out, we at least wanted to make sure people had the
Yeah.
opportunity. So,
Makes sense.
but yeah, absolutely. We'll do it again. If people want to see it again, we'll do it again.
I have to tell you, I did my very first posting of my video that we did for the thing on my Facebook page. I had tons of people.
See?
It's the first time I've ever had.
Yay, Cynthia!
Well, and
I
that's
know.
really the point of all of this, is
That's so
remembering
awesome.
that to get like the league itself, like we have some followers, most of them are within the league. The more important thing is for us to each post our own on our own Facebook and our own Instagram, because we have a whole lot more followers out there that we can reach.
Yeah.
So this is not, I mean, this is great for the league to build more content, but it's really for each of us to do our own outreach. So
some of my friends then sent it to other friends,
see, there you go.
That's the way it's supposed to work, I gather.
Exactly. Elizabeth.
Another funny thing. So I just started going through my contacts and I found all of Jonathan and Oliva Infante's friends. And I just invited them on my page, and because they're the ones that are going to start seeing all the posts that we're doing. So if you have friends with kids or grandkids that are voting age, like once you get them as a friend, then their friends are going to start popping up, so you can include them. I mean, we can get the message out in so many different ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
I also got a ton of responses to Elizabeth's little talking dog.
yes, Lucy is super cute.
People, and all kinds of people responded to that too. So things like that, I think, have the viral thing.
They do. They
Oh.
do.
3 more that will be released here and there.
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
No, there's a little
Wait,
dog
where do
in
we find the
Montreal.
talking dog? Where do we find Lucy?
I'll send her to the League of Women Voters page if that's okay.
For sure.
Well, Elizabeth has to approve it, but I think she will.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
talks about
Talks about
voting.
environment in this one. She talks about education, about gun violence prevention, and about general well-being. So 2 different
Yeah.
poses.
Excellent. But yeah, so if anybody has any ideas, like just share them. And like I said, each of our own individual social media presences the more we can get out, the better. So
We
excellent.
have the message.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well, thanks everybody. Thanks Elizabeth for moderating and keeping
No
track for me. And thank you Elizabeth for keeping the young leadership steering moving. And I appreciate everyone's attendance today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. It was great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.